If you're thinking about quitting trading, and if you have been trading for any amount of time, it's because you're looking for a shortcut that doesn't exist. I have received 6 figures payout with multiple prop firms, and I've shown every proof in my channel. I've been trading for 6 years now, and I'm about to show you why 2026 is gonna be your breakthrough year. First, I want to tell you something very important because I know how you feel right now. Maybe you're just graduated and you're not sure what direction your life is supposed to go. Maybe you're stuck in a job that you absolutely hate going to every single day. To be honest, I've never actually worked a normal job in my life. I started out reselling sneakers and golf products. I was always trying to figure out ways to make money on my own, buying things low and selling them higher. But the problem with selling is that it's still limited. You need inventory, you need buyers, you're constantly chasing the next product. I want to discover trading. Something clicked in my head because for the first time I saw a business where the only real limit was your skill. When I first looked at it, I immediately realized something. This might be the one career that could completely change my life. This is one of the only careers where you don't have a boss, you don't have a fixed working hours, you don't have to live in a specific city just to do the job. And on top of that, the upside is unlimited. Your income isn't cut by a salary or a promotion. In the markets, your results are directly tied to your skill. But here's where things get confusing for most beginners. The moment you start learning trading, you're hit with an overwhelming amount of information. You see hundreds of educators online. Everyone has a different strategy, different systems, different indicators. And when you're brand new, you have absolutely no idea where you're supposed to start. But that was honestly just the beginning of the journey. Most people get attracted to trading for the same reason. It looks like easy money, it looks like perfect career. You see people trading from their laptops and making thousands of dollars in a single day. And naturally you think, how hard could this really be? I thought the exact same thing, but that belief lasted only until I really started trading. Once I got my hands dirty in the markets, executing trades, taking losses, watching positions, I started to realize something very quickly. This might not be as easy as people make it seem. There's actually a quote in trading that says this is the hardest easy money you'll ever make. And if you've been trading for any amount of time, you have probably asked yourself this question more than once. What actually makes trading so difficult? For most beginners, the answer seems obvious. They believe the hardest part is simply finding the profitable trading strategy. And I went down the exact path for a long time. I was constantly strategy hopping, testing one system, it doesn't work, abandon it. Try another strategy, a different indicator, a different mentor, over and over again. And if you're watching this right now, there's a good chance you have done the same thing. But what I didn't realize back then, what many traders still don't realize is this. Your trading system absolutely plays a role in your profitability, but it's not the only thing that determines whether you win or lose in this game. And once I understood that, the way I looked at trading completely changed. Eventually, I started looking at trading differently. Instead of seeing it as just one skill, I began to see it as two completely separate skill sets. On one side, you have hard skills. These are the technical things. Your trading strategy, your entries, your exits, your risk management, or your understanding of the market. It's similar to any other technical profession. An engineer has technical knowledge, a carpenter has technical skills, scientist has technical processes they follow. Trading has those same hard skills. And then there's another side that almost nobody talks about, the soft skills. And this is where most traders struggle without realizing it. The entire industry is obsessed with the technical side. Everyone is selling strategies, indicators, entry models, and systems. The message is always the same. If you just find the right strategy, you'll become profitable. But that's only half the equation, because trading is much more holistic than that. You have to think about the mindset you bring into the market, your long-term goals, the internal struggles you're going to face while you're testing strategies and taking losses. You have to learn how to handle uncertainty, how to stay consistent during losing streaks, how to build a roadmap for your own development as a trader. And the truth is, almost every trader goes through the exact same struggle, and I went through it too. At the beginning, most traders develop tunnel vision. So what actually creates a consistent profitable trader? On the surface, it's easy to look at a trading strategy and say this one works or this one doesn't work. But what most people don't realize is that there are a lot of things below the surface that determine whether a trader fails or succeeds. After spending 6 years in the markets, I've come to understand that most beginners don't expect. Trading isn't a journey of learning the market. It's a journey of self-improvement. Honestly, the markets changed me as a person far more than I ever anticipated. Before I got into trading, I had a lot of flaws that made this journey harder than it needed to be. I was impatient, I was easily irritated, I didn't like listening to people, I didn't like reading or studying, and those personality traits that made trading extremely difficult. What I didn't realize until a few years into my journey was that these weren't just small habits. They were personality flaws that were holding me back from becoming profitable. Because the truth is, at that point, I already had many of the right pieces. I had a trading strategy that worked, I had mentors, I understood risk management, I understood trading psychology. But actually implementing those things consistently, that's where the disconnect was. My personality was getting in the way of my progress. And this is the moment that every trader eventually reaches. When you first enter the market, you think the challenge is just learning trading. But what you quickly realize is that the markets act like a mirror. They show you exactly who you are. If you're impatient, the markets will expose it. If you're greedy, the markets will expose it. If you struggle under pressure, the markets will expose it. Trading has a way of revealing your weaknesses faster than anything else. And chances are many of you watching this have already experienced something like this. Let's say you enter a trade that looks perfect. Everything lines up, your setup is there, you're confident it's going to work. And then the market goes the opposite direction. You get stopped out. Suddenly your entire nervous system gets flooded with emotion, frustration, anger, stress. Maybe you slam your desk. Maybe you start yelling at the screen. And that moment reveals something about you that you have never noticed before. Before trading, I actually thought myself as a pretty calm and patient person. But once I started putting real money at risk, I saw a completely different side of myself. Losing trades amplify emotions that I didn't even realize were there. The market forced me to be calm, aware of parts of my personality that had always existed, but had never really been tested. And once I noticed that in trading, I started seeing it in other parts of my life too. Sometimes I had a short fuse in conversations. Sometimes I'll lose patience with people faster than I should. And it made me ask a deeper question. If we can clearly see these weaknesses, why is it so hard to change them? I think the answer is that most of us spend a large part of our lives in denial about who we really are. We like to believe we're disciplined. We like to believe we're patient. But the moment pressure is applied, like risking money in the market, the truth shows up very quickly. That's why the journey of trading forces you to become incredibly introspective. You start questioning your habits, your reactions, and the type of person who you really are. And you have to ask yourself a difficult question. Does the person I am right now actually align with the kind of discipline and the consistency that profitable trading requires? Because at the end of the day, this might be the biggest challenge in trading. Not learning a strategy, but changing parts of yourself. Because those behaviors feel like part of their identity. If you're sitting here wondering why trading feels so difficult when everyone on the online makes it so easy, it's probably because you're not looking at it from the right perspective. First of all, let's be honest about something. Nothing meaningful in life is easy. You always have to choose your heart. Staying in a job you hate is hard. Building a career in trading is hard. Learning any high income skill is hard. Every decision that can meaningfully change your life comes with difficulty. So one of the biggest mistakes new traders make is having completely unrealistic expectations how long this process takes. Because profitable trading doesn't happen overnight. Once you understand that, the real question becomes, how do you actually build a roadmap to get there? When I look back at my own journey and the journeys of traders who eventually become profitable, I've noticed something interesting. Almost everyone goes through the same stages, and I've never seen anyone skip them. The first stage is what I call the trial and error phase. This is when you first enter the markets and start exploring different strategies. You'll watch different educators, you'll test different systems. Some of them might resonate with you, but others won't. You might try something for a while and realize it doesn't fit you and move on to something else. And that's completely normal. During this stage, you're not just learning the markets, you're also learning yourself as a trader. Because trading is extremely personal. There are thousands of ways to make money in the markets. There are profitable traders using price action, indicators, fundamentals, algorithm, you name it. The markets are not a one-size-fits-all industry, which means your job in the beginning isn't to find the right strategy immediately. Your job is to explore, to test different approaches, to slowly figure out what actually fits your personality, your attention span, and the way you think. And that process takes time. You should not expect to enter the markets and instantly find something that works for you. Because at the beginning, you don't know enough about the market. More importantly, you don't know enough about how you behave as a trader yet. The real challenge during this phase is discovering the type of trader you are and finding a methodology that clicks with you. There's another paradox in trading that most people don't understand. It's the difference between the winning and performing well. In most areas of life, we are trained to focus on winning. If you work harder, move faster, and push harder than everyone everyone else, you usually get results. That mindset works in business, in sports, in school, and in most careers. So naturally, a lot of people bring that mindset into trading. They think, oh, this mindset has helped me succeed everywhere else in life, so I just apply it to trading and I'll win here too. But here's the problem. In trading, you can't control whether you win a trade or not. And that completely breaks the traditional success model most people are used to. Your brain wants to force outcomes, it wants to change results, it wants to keep pushing until it wins. But the markets don't work that way. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If your goal is to get funded before 2026 ends, there's a form below in the description. Fill it out and I'll choose one person from the list, personally help them get funded in 2026 without charging a single cent. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.